Hello, and welcome to Japanese Craft Beer Reviews. Today we have a kind of special review. I'm here with Mark, and Mark and I are going to look at three beers from a brewery you may not have heard of. It's called Story Ale Works in Tokushima, Japan. Mark, if you do not know, Mark is the author of this wonderful book called Craft Beer in Japan, The Essential Guide. And this is an English version. There's also a Japanese version that's available from Mark. How can people order this?
Right Wave Media, or you can get it on Amazon as well, and or through the Japan Beer Times magazine.
Okay. So you might want to take a look at this book if you are interested in craft beer in Japan. It is, as it says, the essential guide to that. All right, and so today Mark and I are going to look at this brewery called Story Ale Works in Tokushima, which is in Shikoku in Japan. And this brewery started in 2018, and they began bottling from November of 2019. And the name Second Story refers to the location. The brewery is in the second story of a building. In fact, I think it's the in-laws building of the brewer. Is that right?
It's a farm building. It's on the in-laws, the brewer's in-laws farm.
Okay.
And it used to be a garage, actually.
I've always heard brewers say the cardinal rule of starting a brewery is don't put it on the second floor because it's so hot. Huh?
The fermenters are on the first floor.
Oh, they are. Okay, that's good.
It's on the second floor, so it works quite well by gravity,
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to wash down the floor up there and everything. Yeah, that's good. Okay, and Mark has been there, actually. Mark went there, and I'm going to let you, Mark, talk a little bit about the brewery and the brewer, in fact.
The brewery is a lovely little place. It's about 15 kilometers southwest of Tokushima City, really in a very countryside, rural environment, kind of hard to find. It's on the brewery is named Pat Brown. He's American, and his wife Yuki Brown. That's her family's farm. So her parents are still there farming, mostly sudachi, which is a kind of Japanese citrus fruit, which is very famous from that prefecture. And it's like a yuzu in a way. It's something that you use to put on food or put in drinks, but you don't really eat. More like a lemon or a lime. And they're farming this and various other fruits. And they decided to move back there and to take over one building to live in and take over another building to make into their second story ale works. And so it's a beautiful place, just very steep valley with a little river running through it and surrounded by fruit trees. They don't have an on-premise license. They open on weekends, and you can go and you can get pints of draft beer, or you can buy bottles, and you can sit by the river and drink it if the weather's nice. So you can drink there, but there's no indoor facilities. Okay. Pat's been living in Japan on and off since the early 90s. He came here, I think, as an English teacher, and then he worked through various other gigs. Yuki, he met while he was back in the States. She was a child psychologist, I think, or child therapist. And she was studying in the States, and that's when they met. And after having some kids back in Japan, they decided they wanted to let the kids spend some time living in the US so they would become fluent in English and understand American culture, like Native Americans, Native people. And they spent some time there. And while they were there, he took a brewer's course in Bend, Oregon. So that's where he was already a home brewer for a while, but he polished his skills in Bend, and they came back and opened this brewery. So it's an interesting family-run business. Yeah. Very small. They've got a 500-liter brew kit, and they've got 6 fermenters, 500 to 1,000 liters. And I think I went there about a year ago, and it was during the pandemic, but they're mostly kegs and mostly people in the prefecture buying bottles, and they were doing quite well, not having to rely on a pub So that helped them through the pandemic, and they were selling pretty much everything they could brew, and already talking about the need for upcoming expansion, probably.
Wow.
You know.
Okay.
So
Okay.
yeah, so really nice people in a really beautiful farmhouse setting. So it's a lovely place to go. It'd be great if they had a little pub there, but I don't think
eventually, maybe. Yeah. Maybe in the future. Yeah. 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 They I mean, right off the bat, started making some interesting beers. I think saisons. In fact, we both had their saison. What was it called? Oh, Farmhouse Americana and Japonica last year. Those were exceptional beers.
Right. So those were from early 19. He brewed those in early 19 and released them over a year later. So they were really exceptional.
Yeah, it's interesting to see a brewer that does that right off the bat instead of putting out a standard line of 2 or 3 beers for 5 years, but right away he started making interesting beers. Yeah, so,
and they were good too.
They were exceptional. And one of them was one of my top beers of the year for sure. The Americana. Yeah.
Americana. Interesting about those is they were in the 750 ml bottles, right?
Right.
He had a lot of trouble selling them, and I think he actually still has some.
He has some on the website. They still have some Japonica for sale.
Just the one, right?
Yeah, but not the other one. Yeah.
It's hard to sell those big bottles in Japan. They're just not popular here.
Is that right? Oh, okay.
That's probably why he went to the smaller bottle this year.
This year is a smaller bottle. Yeah. In fact, one of the beers we will review in this series of videos is a farmhouse saison style. On Rate Beer, this brewery has 41 beers listed, and on Untapped, 61.
61, wow.
Yeah, I assume some of them are duplicates, but in any case, and the average on Untapped was 3.75 out of 5 for all the beers, all the ratings. Yeah, pretty high. So, okay, so we're going to get into 3 beers from Second Story Ale Works now. Please hang on just for 1 second and we will get ready. And here we are with the first of the Second Story Ale Works beers that we will look at. And it is this one. It's called Second Story Farmhouse 2021. And it was brewed in, let me see, I have a few notes here. It was made with brown rice and black pepper. And in fact, that wonderful saison we had last time, the Americana, was also made with black pepper. And fermented with 3 different yeasts, including Brett, and fermented for 4 months. And then it was dry hopped with Hallertau Blanc and Mosaic hops, and then aged 3 months in the warehouse, and then 1 more month in a cold room. Okay, so we got at least a total of 8 months in the tanks, and here we are. This was bottled in July. Oops, I'm sorry, I'm reading. I guess no, this is a drink by date on the top, I assume. Drink by 2025. So I'm assuming that would be 3 years, huh? 4 years.
4 years, yeah.
4 years, yeah. Okay, so 7.5%. I don't have IBU information on it. Do you?
No.
No? Okay. So I wouldn't expect terribly high IBU in here, but should we, anything you want to say before we start, Mark?
No, you covered it all.
Okay. All right. I tend to do that. Sorry. Okay, I'm going to open this up. Your label looks different. Is it the same color?
Yeah.
Okay, it's the lighting. The lighting. Yeah,
the lighting.
A little green. Okay.
I had to photograph mine today, so I only have a little bit left for this.
All right.
I already drank most of it this afternoon.
Okay, well, it is a very, very effervescent sort of beer. See the carbonation rising from here. and kind of light golden straw. Very fluffy finger and or so of head. And what you got in the nose, Mark?
I just get really rich stone fruits and citrus. First of all, I mean, apricot and peach, grapefruit, orange. It's kind of just jumping out at me.
It really is. My. And quite yeasty. Brett, I think, is quite present here.
It's there. It's not as big as those last two, but they were a year and a half old when we had them. So it's definitely got that dusty kind of fruitiness, you know.
Right. Yeah, the Brett doesn't jump out, you're right. But so Howard Tower Blanc and Mosaic. Yeah. Okay, interesting combination.
You definitely get the tropical notes as well.
Tropical and some grapey or white winey. Wow. Okay. Yeah, interesting. Wow. Okay. Yeah, stone fruit. Absolutely. Peaches. Grapes. Apple peel. Yeah, quite a variety of fruit.
A lot of fruit.
A lot of fruit, a ton of fruit.
In the background, I think you get some graininess from that brown rice, from the genmai.
Yeah.
Which you wouldn't really get from white rice, you know, you get a little bit more of that from the proteins and stuff.
This would be unmalted brown rice, you think, or malted?
I think unmalted.
So added like an unmalted wheat or something to it. Well, this is very, for a young beer, it's got a lot of character.
Yeah, I think the hops are still really, the dry hopping is still really coming through quite well, isn't it?
Yeah.
I mean, it's still got, definitely the Brett has a lot more it could eat away there. And that'll keep going in the next year or so, I suppose.
Yeah. Sounds like you should buy a few more of these.
Mm-hmm.
He is selling 6-packs, I saw. Wow. Well, this is quite something, really. The Brett does come through. The hops are clearly present, so it's very full-featured beer.
It's got that funk. It's got a bit of that funk, that farmhouse barnyard character.
Yeah.
Not huge.
Not overpowering. No.
Yeah. Now it says on the label, it's not listed in the ingredients, but up the top it says also rye malt.
Oh, you think? Yeah, I see that.
Line there. Do you taste rye? It's definitely.
I don't taste the pepper or rye.
I think I get a little bit of that black pepper in the finish, maybe. It's not that bold though. It's not really that.
You think with the rye and pepper, it would be a little bit stronger. Yeah.
The finish is a bit. I would say the finish is slightly peppery, but not huge. I wouldn't have guessed.
No, it's not.
It's actually added,
Yeah. So it's both full-featured and well-mannered. Now this is really quite exceptional, I think. He does a great job with his saisons. Well,
doing good stuff, isn't it? Yeah.
And you rated this. What number did you give this?
I gave it 4.0.
4.0. Yeah.
I gave it 4.0.
Yeah. I think I might give it somewhere right around there.
I mean, it's up there. It's as good as I think it's as good as the other ones. They were different because they were older and they were more funky. But this has got, the hops are so beautiful in this.
Yeah.
It's really a nice, fresh farmhouse ale.
He's got a winner on his hands. Okay. So this was Second Story Ale Works Farmhouse 2021, and I think Mark and I both agree that it's pretty good. And you might want to go online if you live in Japan and order something from Second Story Ale Works. They have a variety of sets available. You can try 6 different beers if you like, or order a 6-pack of these, or if you're interested in a large format, you can order their saison japonica. So, any final comments, Mark?
Oh yes, there is one. He told me in a message just today that at the end of the year he's got another farmhouse ale coming out, which is also using lactobacillus. And after the primary fermentation, he put in a big load of fresh peaches, and then another 4 months with lacto and Brett and the peaches in there. And so that's coming out at the end of this year. So that's really something to look forward to as well.
Wow, that sounds great. Yeah. Yeah, so this is a brewery who's clearly doing some interesting things way down in Tokushima, Japan. We're going to look at 2 other beers in our next couple videos. So please tune in for that. Okay. All right. You take care. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.